Dude,
That's great. Look at this.
look at this. See? It's not so hard.
It's not so bad. It is a little nerve-wracking to talk to you. I don't know why.
Really? Come
Yeah.
on, man.
I mean, comics are actually the fun ones to talk to be honest. But
Oh, you think so?
well, if I go to like somewhere, if there's like one of those parties like Academy Awards or something, I sort of gravitate over to the comedians. And sometimes other people do too. They know it's gonna be a little lighter over there.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic when I said, "Oh, you think so?"
Oh yeah, you think comics are fun? They are fun. Sometimes some are a little bit of a drag. I'm gonna ask you some questions.
How you doing, first of all?
I'm all right. This is a different background. I saw you the other night on the Zoom.
Yeah, no, I'm in my office in the city. That was my Long Island house. Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I see where the money's going.
I remember someone telling me we're supposed to try and do well.
Yeah, I know. No, you did a good job. Um, no, I'm doing all right. I'm out here. I'm in California. I've been in lockdown, and they just locked it down even harder. And
Yeah,
so we're not doing that much, but at least I can do a couple things. And entertainment somehow squeaked by as essential.
right. What is that brown trimline phone I see behind?
Isn't that cool? This is oh shit, I do have to take this. Hello.
Wow,
This
that
is
is
the
so
old days,
cool.
remember? Meet mom.
Yeah, that was my first phone. I had a light blue one in my room when I was a kid.
It's so cool. And they would be on the wall, and I would, and then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cord would get twisted.
Never broke that thing.
It was
Never broke.
unbelievable, indestructible.
Yeah,
We even got an extra long one, so because we were all in, teenage, we take it into the room
right.
in the kitchen, and it never broke. And we would talk. Back then, I could talk for hours on the phone, and now I don't like to talk on the phone.
Right. I think I would go with the t-shirt with that V-neck.
Oh, really? Is it going
Yeah.
too low? I,
Well, there's an age when
yeah. I don't. Chris Rock is the king of a t-shirt under anything, but I don't
yeah.
go that far. Spade, you got a t-shirt, and then
Yeah, there you go. You just button that. Like when Nancy Pelosi gives you this area, like
yeah, I don't need it. Yeah, you're right. It's
you
it's
just
sort
go,
of,
you know what? I'm good.
and I'm from Arizona, so I'm sure my body's covered with spots. You and I met, if I think I recall correctly, I did the San Diego Improv early on.
San Diego Improv. Absolutely.
Great club, and
Yeah. And we had a ball that week. I remember it well.
I love that you remember because you were super nice to me. I had a Honda Accord. I had my skateboard in the trunk, and I would skate around in between shows in the parking lot. I had a picture of
Nice.
us for so long, and I don't have it anymore. And it was too bad because you came out and would just bullshit. But I think I was just the opener. But you were the first one I saw rotate material. Is that crazy?
Really?
That you were like doing a different 15 in the middle of your set, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen that. And then the next show you'd open with something different. I go, what the fuck? Because back then I was thinking about that. You could travel as a comic with the same hour and never mix it up for years.
And then you turn 53 and that phone works like your brown trim line. It's not ringing.
It's not, well, there was guys like Denny Johnson, if you remember him,
Oh,
and
I love Danny Johnston.
he would kill. And they told me that he wrote it in one night. Do you ever hear that rumor? He wrote his whole act in one night.
No, I never heard that.
And
Wow.
I believed it forever. Now I think it's a total lie. But he would do, like, remember he had a guitar. He goes, got a black magic marker. And he goes, oh my God, I have a new van. I slammed my finger in it and it got all big and purple and swollen. So then I slammed my dick in there. But he would just do jokes like that. Oh, just really quick. And then he'd sing a song. But I never saw him do anything different the whole time I'd seen him in my life.
And I never didn't enjoy the set.
Killed. And that,
he would do Ricky Nelson. Remember,
right.
you mix it up real good.
It's funny because comics usually know other comics, and when you get together, sometimes you go, I just worked with blah blah, and then everyone knows one of their jokes.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to see you. I miss talking to you.
Yeah.
We were going to do your show when you had that show, which I love that show.
Yeah.
Man, I watched all of those shows. I loved, your monologue. You came out there with that wonderful what I call a soft confidence, that you laugh at yourself and you're such a different voice. And I watch all your shows that you do in your house because you do jokes. I like jokes.
Yeah, thank you. I was talking to this guy at Netflix. I'm like, I feel weird. I feel like I don't do important comedy because there's no politics or really race stuff in it. And then I go, but just jokes. There's definitely people that just want straight jokes, especially now. And it gets harder. It's hard not to talk about things that are like politically is every second everyone's talking about it. And it gets half my crowd so riled that I don't even want to, I don't want to lose half. I don't have a big enough crowd to lose half.
Right.
I want everybody.
What was I reading? Oh, Woody Allen's autobiography, which is phenomenal. It's called Apropos of Nothing. You got to read it. It's such a phenomenal journey of his life. But he talks about how much he hates political comedy. And I don't hate it, but it's just like, do you really want to hear another Clinton dick joke? Or would you like to hear, a bit about the stopper in the sink? That,
I remember one bit you did about, was it but when I repeat guys' jokes, I always picture them watching me mangle it. But you had one about a parakeet that would fly into a mirror.
Yeah, sure.
And you think he'd at least try to avoid the other parakeet?
Yeah, right.
Of all jokes, I go, let me think of some Seinfeld jokes. That's the first one that popped in my head.
Yeah, still funny. That joke is from, I think, 79.
Oh, really?
Still funny joke.
Do you think a spot, I used to see you on Carson, which was really the only way to see comics really before everything. And I think maybe a 6-minute Carson, is that equivalent to like a Netflix special now?
I would say 2 of them, definitely. 2 Carson shots is an hour special on Netflix.
As far as awareness, because there was only networks pretty much, and then it went to HBO, and there was.
Oh, I thought you meant in terms of the difficulty of the creating that much material.
Oh, well, that's sort of different subject of. I was going to ask you about that. When I started, I think if you're not paying attention, I was with guys that started with me that I had about 7 minutes, good minutes I liked, and they go, oh, I can do 40 if I have to, and I go, it must be the shittiest 40 because. You know what I mean? People that say they have so many material, I did 2 hours one night. I go, so how much was good? Like 15 minutes? Because it's hard and you got to be very aware of how much of your stuff is actually good and how much time you actually have.
Right. Chris Rock and I determined that over the course of your lifetime, the most productive comic possible has 2 hours. The rest is crap.
Yeah, there's padding in there, and there's, you see a concert and, you see Journey and they do Don't Stop Believing, but there's some dog shit before that, and you realize it's an hour and a half concert, but it's not all, it's sort of like this, but you walk away happy and you do have some filler. Rock told me once, he goes, Spade, he goes, shake it up sometimes. Take your closer and open with it.
Yeah.
And then
try to do that, Rock. You open with your closer.
You do that. You watch your act fall apart. It is hard because acts. I'm not saying it's like a song or anything, but it is sort of, you really think about where things are going, and you I was going to ask you, when I have one new thing, like let's say I'm doing the Comedy Store twice a week, you do New York clubs and stuff. When you have like one new thought, which is always like the biggest high of life, is when you're older. That one of the few things I still like is like, oh my God, this might be a good thing. So I go and I sometimes squinch it between jokes. But sometimes I will just open with 3 new minutes. It's terrifying, but are you a squincher? What do you do with it?
I'm a squincher.
You put it between things at work?
Let me do a joke that makes me feel good. Then I'll try this and then something else to get me out of that.
Yeah, a fucking net. Yeah.
Plus, after you do that new joke, your mind is completely thinking about if it got a laugh, it didn't get a laugh. You can't even think about what you're supposed to do after that.
It's so true. I forgot about that because
that's all part of the rough and tumble fun of it. I don't care what people say or think. Anybody gets up to that microphone, I love them for doing it.
Yeah.
I want to hear but I love hearing great old stuff. I'm not one of these new hour guys. I'm working on my new hour. Dude, I never saw your old hour. I want to do Do something good. I'm not coming to see you more than once.
Yeah, I wanted to see. Yeah, I sort of agree because I did an HBO special back in the day and I liked it. And then I waited until about 4 years ago to do another one just because I go, it was a decision of also, is it good enough? Because I was doing a lot of TV stuff. So I wasn't on it as much as you need to be to like really pump it out. I'm not as extreme as Rock, where it's like 18 months in clubs, 2 years in theaters, film the last one. You know, that's where I go, my material would change so much. It would almost be a different special at the
Yeah.
end if you're working that much. But I waited a long time, did another hour. I liked it, but I definitely don't have another hour yet.
Well,
I
I'm not
mixed
worried
it
about
in.
it. Don't throw out all that old stuff.
You know, it's fun stuff, and it got me there. And
Yes, and
it's
we
like,
love it. You're the first guy I ever heard say the word guns. I didn't know the word guns. You taught me that word. Teach it to me, but San Diego Improv. You were very proud of your biceps in those days.
I think I wore sleeveless shirt.
You did sleeveless, and you had, and I said, why? He says, I got to show my guns. I never heard that word before.
That was my biggest attribute, those little stick arms. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, I had some guns. I remember having an old improv San Diego shirt with the sleeves ripped off that I wore skateboarding, and I milked that skateboard shit for a while, but then I broke both wrists doing an aerial thing in a pool once, and they go, get out of the bowl, and I had to like get my board out, and then I got them fixed, and then I broke my wrist again. And then my mom said, you're not skateboarding anymore. And I go, are you worried about me? She goes, no, you're just not good at it. you keep breaking things. So I slowed down on the skateboarding, but right out of high school, I was bored and went to a comedy night. I think Sobel was one of the first guys I saw, and I had seen him do an hour. And I just was shocked that I'm like, is he making this shit up? Like, I'd only seen snippets on Carson, you know, and so you see someone do an hour and you go, and then I saw it again. I go, oh, some of it is thought. I thought it was all made up right on the spot, you know?
Yeah. Do you have a copy of my book? Did they give you a copy of my book to hold up? Oh, nice. So in the beginning of that book, I tell that same story of watching these guys, and I'm going, how did they talk like this? Is this how they talk?
Right.
I didn't know it was material. I didn't know what an act was. You didn't know what a comedian was. I want to be able to talk like that. How do you do that?
It was so smooth. Anybody I saw was smooth. This book, and it's out anywhere you can buy things. This is the new book. Is This Anything? And that's kind of about comedy. And this green marker was because I thought this was kind of cool what you said about you write down all your stuff, and I do too. I have set lists. I have shit all over the place, and they're valuable to me. And you said a lot of people seem surprised that you kept all these notes, and you go, I don't know why they think that, because I don't understand why I've kept anything else. I mean, what could possibly be more valuable?
Right.
I mean, I would hold up a set list and think, this is my income for the year. Like, this is all I have. If I have this, I can work.
Yeah.
Get a TV show, and this is what I run around with.
Yeah.
It's true. I think it's really smart. And the book is it's your act?
It's all the stuff that worked from 1975 to this year is in that book.
This is people that love your jokes but hate your voice.
Yeah. Do it in your voice.
It's like the car shows. Have you done I don't think you've done one, but the parking lot shows, drive-in shows?
No, I have not.
I don't fault people for doing them. I've done 2, so I don't fault myself. But I got some beeps. I mean, it's definitely, I think, it's hard to walk out and go, where are my Camrys at? You know, you have to like get into it. Land Cruiser knows what I'm talking about. But I try to treat it like a real show. It's definitely not exactly the same, but they seem to want to have fun. I think comics want to do their act, it's just in them and itchy. So it's a meeting. It's not perfect, but it's something.
I think people think of you as a cool guy. I think of you as a cool guy, a hip guy. Mm-hmm. You always kind of know what people are saying and the words that to use and not to use, and you know how to use them. How do you stay cool? What do you hang out with other cool people? Do you just know cool stuff on the internet? How do you do it? I think that's what people would want to know from you. How can I be cool like you?
That's nice to say. I think I'm nervous a lot, but I try to keep it cool because I used to have a bad temper. I try to keep everything quiet now. I try to keep everything internal, which
You
is
had a bad temper or have a
yeah,
bad temper?
yeah.
Wow, I've never
And it
seen that.
comes out now and then, but I had one growing up, and I think it's because my dad left. I try to look back, and I never really got it.
Right.
My dad wasn't fucking around, and he wasn't there. And when I was sick, I couldn't call him. And I know there's divorces now and things where dads feel bad because divorces happen and gets. But if you still call your kid and your kid knows where you are, that's all I needed. I just needed a few things.
Right,
Like if
right.
I was sick, can I call him? But it was always he would call us and be like, oh, on this phone. Oh, your dad's on the phone. I would go, oh, and then we'd all run over and he goes, I'll pick you up Friday at 5. And then we'd all be by the door with our stuff. And then around 6:30, my mom would go, let's get some pizza because he just wouldn't come. And
Uh,
so my mom had 3 boys and dealing with that. And I think that ground into me after a while that I realized later, oh, it was a control thing. We didn't have his number. He would always call us.
uh-huh.
And it was just, and I think that just my dad not around when I needed him, or I'd get bullied at school and I didn't want to tell my mom some stuff, because it was like guy stuff. And then I think it just came out in weird ways.
You see why my show, Comedians in Cars, was such a great show? Look at what I got out of you with
You
one
just got it. And I sang
question
like a
that
fucking
was
canary.
totally unrelated to what you answered, but that was fantastic.
Yeah.
This this is the David Spade everybody wants to know.
Yeah, I think you were saying why are you cool, and I just explained why I'm not. But a lot of people go through divorces, and everyone handles it differently. And having 2 brothers and being not huge, I got picked on a lot. And I was like
Right.
beat up a lot, and just stuff that grinds into you over years. But
And the last
now,
I saw you was in Phoenix, right? At that great hotel. Remember we bumped into each other at breakfast.
oh my God, I think there was one where I used your joke you said to me in a movie because we were having breakfast years ago, over 10 years ago. And you came over to the table, which is always like a hit, because everyone gets excited. And you go, hey, Spade, I thought you were going to start working out out of the blue. And everyone goes, what? And such a great burn. And it's so funny to say. That's a great one. But you're like one of those universally liked comics. I saw you once when I was at the Hard Rock. I walked by and they go, Seinfeld's doing a corporate gig in the joint at the Hard Rock. So I just went in and fucking laughed my ass off
In Vegas.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
it was a great
That's
one.
cool.
You know,
And you have a daughter also, right?
I have a daughter, 12, Harper, and I think we were on a Zoom call the other night, and for the people at home, it was Netflix. The boss had like a Zoom call of like Netflix comedians.
Right.
And so Ted got on and like just said, hey, everybody, thanks for being on the net, whatever. And we, it's funny with comedians, we're all goofing around. And Dave Chappelle was sort of the crazy uncle of the party and loves you. And for everyone at home, it was all these comedians, and he kept talking about how funny Seinfeld was at this one show or something. Where was it?
Yeah, right. I did one of his shows. He does these giant shows with musicians and poets and jazz and comics, and I did one of them, and I had a good set, which I guess was something.
Really stuck.
I love Dave. Dave's the most lovable guy, isn't he?
If Dave fucking
He's
listen,
so lovable.
he's nice to every time I run into him. He's
Everybody,
nice to everybody. Like nice, just a cool guy that's not
Yeah.
full of shit. He's a cool dude. It's fun
Right.
to see all those comedians on one call.
Yeah.
You were saying on that call that we were all joking. Like I think you said at dinner, your kids, bust your balls. Like, is this from your act? Like, whenever you say anything mildly amusing.
Is this one of your bits, Dad?
It's funny. My daughter gives me the light at dessert. She's like, I go, why don't you go like this? She goes, you think you're gonna stretch? I think you've done enough. Like, I go, well, it's always this in the back. Like pudding's coming. I'm like, all right. But it is hard because I do feel like sometimes you do say things in real life, and that's how it gets in your act. You just sort of tell a story and you go, well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you want to go? I'm actually funny. I am a comedian. It's not an affected persona.
I think once you said, which I agree with if you didn't say, but that you're sort of always working in the way that if you can find something new about just your everyday life, I go on Instagram and I do stuff, and I sort of am happy when sometimes you're just walking in an alley, you're just doing something, and you do think of some weird angle that even if it just makes you laugh, you feel like you're still in the biz somehow, like you still have it somehow. Like, oh, I'm glad that I went at it that way. That was good. It wasn't too corny, and even if it doesn't kill or whatever, you go, okay. And that's the fun. Little
Absolutely. It's the
slip-
way you go at it, because you think this is the way other people would go at it, and I'm going to come in this way. And that's the joy of the whole thing. And I hear, I have to follow you on Instagram. I have heard from a lot of people that you're amazing at Instagram.
we have some crossover people, we have some crossover friends, but thank you. And it's more like the fact that when we're in between movies and in between a show or something, it's an interesting way to sort of get things out, that your thoughts out, that's
Right.
kind of fun. By the way, you never, I know you did the B movie, but did you ever, you obviously had a million opportunities, want to be in movies as an actor, or you just, that wasn't your thing?
No, I don't. I don't like other people's material, first of all. And that's why, that I was fine doing the series, but after that, I wasn't looking. So yeah, I really feel like I need to control the words otherwise it won't be funny. I can't do other people's material and make it funny.
To get the most out of you, you got to have a hand in it, right?
Yeah, and plus I can't get over the incredible racket of stand-up comedy. I can't get over it. So I say yes to every gig because I love to go out and do the gig. And if I don't have to deal with other people and other crap, I can't deal with all the paraphernalia of other things.
Yeah.
And I don't wonder what it's like to have a hit,
Yeah. It is fun now and then. I don't have them a lot, but when you get one that works, you go, oh fuck.
You had a big one with the other Missy. Is that what it was?
Misty, yeah.
The Wrong Missy. That was great. Nice job on that.
It was great to have, and it was sort of out of the blue. And it's funny when even critics, they kind of have to not like it,
Yeah, yeah.
They go, I think our best review is it's a delightful piece of shit. Because so the critics start with like, obviously it's bad. Let me just start with that, obviously. But there's some laughs in there, and our family watched it 4 times. But
I like to talk about how somebody mentioned to me that I got a bad review on my last Netflix special somewhere in England or something, and I tried to say to the guy, let me explain to you something about critics of stand-up comedy. Do you understand when your piece comes out, we've already left town with the money?
That's funny. In the
So
city.
please write whatever you want. Enjoy yourself.
Can you, and plus it's so immediate, you go out and you do a gig and you get paid. It's like, there's almost nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
When you get paid in cash, which is rare, that's the fucking score. Even when I go to the Comedy Store and they go, you want to come down to someone's show? I go, can I have a set? And they go, they're doing this thing, but they'll give you 300 for something. I'm like, yeah. And then I get that 300. I'm like, oh my God, it's cash. It's like the old days.
Which if I was still doing Comedians in Cars, getting coffee, which I don't know if I'm going to get back to that, but I wanted you to come on the next season. And the way I pay people for that show, I give them $4,000 in 20s in a white envelope.
Oh, that's so great.
That was our comedy club money. It's nothing felt better than when they would hand you that envelope at the end of the week.
Yeah, it's so juicy. Like, or they'd look at you and they'd write it at the San Diego Improv. I remember the guy there would go, you remember bonuses? He'd go, I think I was my top middle money was 1,000. I went from 800 to 1,000. I was fucking killing it. That's when I got on SNL. So I go like, he goes 1,000. He goes like this. I'm gonna give you 1,100. I'm like, oh, because that was plus it was nice to get a bonus. You feel like you did good. I've been fired from every job before then, dishwasher, valet parker. So when you're doing a job and you're young and you're actually someone is thinking you did a good job, it's great.
I remember that week. It's weird. There are certain gigs that you remember, and I guess maybe it was because I met you and it was such a California gig, and you were such a California guy to me, even though I know you're from Arizona. But I remember the laughs we got. I remember that week. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I don't know why, but that was, I know why it was you, but it was just, I was new. The Funny Boys got me in there.
Right.
And then they invited me back, and Mark Anderson was this great owner there. And it was just
Mark Anderson, right.
Wasn't it a fun vibe? And it was right on the beach. And next to that restaurant Diego's. So it was just like a fun.
Yeah, Diego's. We would get nachos there. And then after the last set on Sunday, I got in the car and I could drive back to LA.
Yes, it's just a
I could
quick one.
leave.
Did you ever do Newport Laugh Stop? I never was
Oh, sure.
big enough to get to do that.
I middled there for Leno
Oh, wow.
back in '78.
You know, it's funny, a quick story about Leno, and then I'll probably wrap you up, and get rid of you. But you have car. How many cars do you have by now? Do you know?
I'm more than a number that you wouldn't look at it and go, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good though. You know what was one thing I was jealous of you at Igby's is an
Yeah.
old club for everybody. Is an old club in sort of Santa Monica area.
Uh-huh.
And when you were there, your Porsche was out front. It was in the red zone. I go, somebody tell Jerry he's in the fucking red zone. And they go, that's his thing. He'll pay the ticket. He doesn't care. And I go, what the fuck? That's why I wanted to be rich. I go, you are kidding. He did it on purpose? And they go, yeah, he parks close. And I go, oh, that's what I wanted to do with my life. I go, God dang it.
You know who taught me that? It
No.
was Rob Reiner at Castle Rock.
Oh, for real?
Rob Reiner says the red zone is for when you make it. You park, that's where you park it.
You just I don't want to get towed. I'll take a ticket. I don't get towed. But so I call Leno. I have a couple old cars sometimes. I don't have any room, so I don't have.
Oh yeah, I saw you on Leno's show with the Grand National.
Oh yeah, I had a Grand National.
Cool. Yeah.
So I don't talk to Jay as much. He's always nice enough to talk. So I call him out of the blue and I go, hey Jay, I'm looking at a Grand National, and I'm looking at a GNX, which is like a nicer version. I go,
right, yeah.
What is the difference, just off the top of your head, because he knows everything? And he goes, Grand National, why do you want an 87 car? And I go, oh, they're kind of cool. And he goes, you know, you need a Tesla. They go so fast. He goes, you don't want those old cars, they break down. I go, is this Jay Leno? I go, you're talking me out of an old car. He goes, or a 2020 Mustang Cobra. I go, well, those are all cool, but I like the coolness of like something to decorate my driveway, even if I don't drive it that much. Someone just goes, oh, you might be cool. This is my trick. So I go, oh, you got an old Grand National. I go, yeah, you know how it is. I never drive. But I said, yeah. So he talked me out of it. And I was like, this is the new Jay Leno.
Well, because he doesn't think you're actually into cars and he's trying to save you the headache of an
old.
Oh,
because I'm a bit of a phony, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't believe you're for real.
No, but I can't work on them. I can like them.
Yeah.
Believe me, when I go to Barrett Jackson or these auctions and they see me walking around like some actor pretender going, I'll buy that one. They're all like, ugh, like they don't even care. They're like, oh, here come with your just shoot me money. You're gonna go buy a car, and I'm like, yes, and they hate it. They go, oh, some actor bought it, the comedian or whatever. I'm like, no, it's actually a bit of a hybrid comedian act.
So what were you doing before this happened?
I think there's an eclipse going on at your house. The sun is hitting you on the side.
Yeah, it's called a cloud.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Before I didn't do any gigs this year. Right. Started the Netflix show, and then it just finally got up and running. So it'll be similar. Oh. It'll be sort of an interview show. Sort of our main guest will be from Netflix. We did a year-end special, sort of wrapping up the year. We talked to people from Tiger King and the chess movie. That girl's very interesting.
Yeah.
And, some of their big shows, The Crown, and then we do jokes, and I do monologue. It's fun. So,
well, I love your stand-up. Please keep doing stand-up and if you're going to do a show, put stand-up in the front of it, because I love watching you work. Yeah,
you can watch for 2 minutes and bail, but I think it is fun to do monologue, and it's like what you say, writing a monologue, and I have writers here too, and we write and we do jokes, but just doing jokes is fun. We have a blast doing it, and you come up with one that works, and it's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. It's just great talking to you for any reason, buddy.
Same here, pal. Great to see you. Stay well. Good luck to your daughter and everything you do.
Yeah, thank you, man. All right, take care, bud. I'll see you soon.
Okay, pal. Thanks.
Okay. Now we both try to get off for 10 minutes.